Cool. And there also should be captions if you want that. I don't think they are, I don't think it forces them on you. So I've created a directory called Global Beans, and I'm changed into it. I'm going to make it a Git repository. This allows me to do changes, to track changes via Git. So I'm going to create an index.html file. I'm going to go ahead and do file.css. And then we're good. Open that Visual Studio Code. Amazing. So before this, I think I'm going to spend like 3 or 4 minutes laying out what I want the site to look like. So I'll probably spend some time in a site like, that would be the best program for this. Yeah, I can just use, I'm going to use something called Jamboard, Google Jamboard. You have access to this too, because it's just online. There you go. This is what I used to give AJ the rundown of the City of Refuge Gazette before we built it, but I'll create a new jam. This part is you might do on paper. I would recommend doing this on paper and at the first step, but I'm doing it digitally because it'd be difficult for me to share the paper with you. So I'm gonna change it to be this like these lines, just so I have some lines to organize my thoughts. So I've got shapes over here that I can use. Got a square shape, so I'll treat this as like a mobile phone. Yeah. So add another square. Let's say we want to have a title at the top called Global Beans, something like that. Then underneath, we don't necessarily have to have a tagline, but maybe if we have time, maybe we could link out to multiple pages. Not sure, but let's do a little title that has all the different beans.
I didn't get that.
Classic. And then we'll put images of each bean, or we could even do regions if you want. Should we do that? Should we do like, you can click on a different region and see the beans from that region. That way it'll force us to have to do different pages. Let's do that. So in here, it'll say, text box regions. Right. And beans. And our region choices will be something like, we'll make those show up horizontally. So we'll do like three of them. We'll say Central America. We'll say Africa. We'll say South America. We could even be more specific on Africa, like the specific what I'm thinking about, bean I'm talking about comes from Ethiopia, so that'd be East Africa, but now I'll just do Africa and then South America. For now, it's okay, but it doesn't matter. In the planning phase, we can obviously add more regions if we want to. So there's not necessarily a comment about the centering here. We can make that choice, like, whatever looks best. But loosely, my feeling right now is that probably centering the names of the regions would be a good move. Okay, so we'll have some regions there in the main view, and then underneath that, maybe we'll have something like maybe people want help with like how to brew, so we can say brewing methods. And then, excuse me, go from there and then have a few different methods that people could have. It's like a list, and maybe that list is links. Maybe. Let's do that. So we'll do list, boom, boom. Yeah. So we're just planning. If you just joined, we're just planning right now. Taking a few minutes. Measure twice, cut once, you know what they say. So we'll say drip here. Not to be confused with being like swaggy. We mean like drip coffee. Here we'll do espresso. And then here we'll do, let's say French press. One-stop shop for all someone's coffee needs. Okay. We're not worried about like assets and all that right now, images. But that feels good for a layout, pretty straightforward layout. And this will be obviously a mobile view. We can treat this as the mobile view, and maybe if we find that 3 across is too much for mobile, maybe we'll just do them vertically in mobile. This is why this is a helpful process, because if I had just started developing, maybe I would have not considered that out the gate. Okay, so are we good? Any questions about this so far? Any thoughts about anything that should change?
Just a random thing. When you say, is assets, like when you refer to images as assets, is that like a web development lingo, or I mean, you know?
Yeah, you're saying like, why am I using the word assets?
Yeah,
because it could be images. That also includes things like fonts, or like any external thing that you have to download to bring into the page that's not the text.
Got it.
Yeah, or also like videos in any sort of media or external stuff.
So pretty much this just open up a Jamboard, correct?
All I do is open up a Jamboard and design. But if I was building this and not putting it online, I probably would do it on a piece of paper.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, with a thick Sharpie. That way, I'm not able to get. See, if I have a pen like this, right, or like a pencil, it's more likely that I'm going to want to put energy into like what exactly should the text be. But if you have a thick Sharpie, you really just keep it rudimentary, because this is just the first time. It's the first time we've done any planning on it. So there's no, we don't want to get mired into the details too soon. There's like very little detail on this. It's just a top level structure.
Agree.
Okay, cool. Anything else? Are we good? Nice. All right. Hold on, just checking if anybody. Let me add Aaliyah. Aaliyah's email. Does anybody know? Drop your email. What's your email? Stand by. I'm getting Aaliyah in here. One kiss is all it takes. What do we got here? Added her. Let's see here. All right. Mary's back too, just in case anybody was wondering. Okay, thanks, Kevin. And looks like Eddie had something. I appreciate it. Okay, cool. So now that we got that going, we can start to code. So I'll keep this here just in case we need to reference it, which we probably will. And now I'm going to start coding. All right, so I'm going to make my boilerplate. I'm going to change the title up here. Is this dark theme, is it visible? Would you like me to change to the light one?
Oh, the black works.
The black works, he said.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so we got global beings going here. And, just as a sanity check, let me open it up here in a second. First thing I'm going to do, though, or second thing after the title, I'm going to go ahead and link the style sheet so I don't have to worry about it. We can see the default is style.css. Just so happens that that's the name of ours too. Great. We can name it something else. We could even, a couple of people have asked me if you are able to have multiple style sheets. The answer is yes. So long as you link them in the pages, the styles will be applied to that page. And of course, they'll be applied in top-down order. So put another way, if this style sheet says that all the text on the site should be red, and then you have another, and then you have another style sheet down here, maybe called footer style.css, and this says all the text on the page should be green. All the text on the page is going to be green, right? Unless it is either more specifically styled with an ID or a class or something. But the default is for styles that happen later to be the ones that take precedent. Mary, you raised your hand.
Yeah, she talked about having multiple style pages being linked. Are they linked to each other, or are they all linked back to the HTML page?
They're not linked to each other. HTML link, this link tag, as you can see, happens in the HTML. So the HTML is the place where the style sheets are wired up and configured.
The plate where the food goes. Got it.
Yeah, sure. Plate where the food goes. Corey, you have your hand up?
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah.
Good. All righty. Cool. So let's keep going. Keep going. So now, I need to open it up and confirm that things are working as suspected. A lot of times you'll see people do something like, just to test that the CSS is linked up. You won't have to do this for a while. Like right now, I'm 100% confident that it is linked properly, but just as a sanity check, right? Just make the background color of the body red just to prove that it's linked up as you expected. So let's open it in Visual Studio Code. I mean, the browser. And you can see here. Oh. That it's open. Obviously, we're going to change that. Proves that it's good to go. Beautiful. All right, so now first thing I'm going to do is get the layout situated. So as you can see, we have, this header here, global beans. We didn't say anything about any sort of logo or font or anything, but I'm going to actually right now, I'm going to go ahead and choose a font. That way we have something going on the app, but you don't have to necessarily do that step right now. So yeah, let's make some choices. First, I'll do the header, and in it contains the text global beans. And maybe that is an H1. Doesn't have to be. I could certainly style the text in the header, like directly from the header selection. But since it's an H1, it'll probably be the only H1 on the page. So I'll just go ahead and inherit that, the default sizing of it, but I can also change it. So H1 of global beans, And I'm going to now choose a font so that we can get it out the way. We don't have to worry about making that choice later. So for the heading, the top heading, I'm going to see if I can find a nice serif font. Maybe. As you know, I'm not a designer, but that's okay. We can still make
Could say, can we get some a little swirlier,
a little whom?
like swirlier?
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay.
Some of these look good. Oh, that's kind of nice. I like this. Nanum Myongjo. Sounds like someone from Korea might have made it. And I'm already on board with that. Yeah, let's try this.
I agree with that.
So I will select the regular. Oh yeah, I'm going to take these others out of my drawer here so that my link is correct. And then we need to choose a font for, I'll do regular and bold. And then we need to choose a font for the body text or any copy that might be on the page. And for that, I'm going to choose a sans serif font. There are more or less guidelines for fonts. There's not rules. There's just like the output, if it's readable or not. You can do whatever you want, but some combinations are definitely going to be more or less readable than others. That's more in the purview of design, though it's something we should consider if we're in a place where we don't have a designer. You still, I think, should know about good font combinations. But like I said, it's not really part of this class.
Okay. I like the Nutria sounds and the go up one. Nope.
Which one?
It was like the Nutria sounds. It was on the right hand side there.
Yeah,
and there was another one that was up from that, up the page, not down the page, like up towards the top.
Gotcha. Montserrat's always a good. I think I put my on one that I think is pretty fire. It's either Work Sans for me or Manrope. That's what we used in Writology, by the way. Work Sans. So we'll do a 10, not 10. We could do light. And that should be good. Cool. So I'm going to copy this. Basically, I'm going to use that Nanum Myongjo font for any headings. And then I'm going to use Work Sans for the copy.
Okay.
I don't want to have, you don't want to have like a ton of fonts on your page. Obviously, ton's not a very direct measure, but 2, 3 fonts is like maybe pushing it because you have to consider people's like reading experience on your page. So what I'll do is paste this here, Option Z to do code folding, and obviously my formatting is off, and I can either go over here and click it and fix it myself with a tab, or press Shift Option F. In this case, it was small enough that I just knew exactly what to switch up. So let's make the font in the H1 of the header be Myongjo. Thankfully, Google gives us this nice little thing here. So I'm going to copy them both and comment out one of them so that when we go to implement Work Sans, we won't have to go get it again. So this is seen some of you commenting things out in your CSS just because it's like, oh, maybe I'll come back to it. Not a bad idea, but I'm literally doing this just so I don't have to remember the font and it's there. Mary, your hand is raised.
Why are you going with multiple fonts?
Because I have header text and I have text that I want people to read. The heading is up here. That'll be like the title.
Mm-hmm.
We can look at a site like New York Times, for example, you can see that it looks like they may be using the same font. Okay, look, see how here's the sans serif font
Mm-hmm.
in the head, in those little selections.
Mhm.
This is that, obviously, like the iconic or
Mhm.
whatever they've used for a long
Yes,
time, like
yeah.
New York Times font. And then this is one font, and then there's other fonts across the page. So you can see that having multiple fonts is definitely
Mhm.
a common approach.
Okay.
Maybe another example. This is a good
No, I'm
site.
good with that.
Okay, I'm interested now. This is a good example of that too. So we have, in this case, they have the blog posts being a blog post heading being a sans serif font, and then here in the little preview and probably in the font text itself, they've used a serif font. And
Okay.
notice there's not a bunch of different fonts. That's the same font up there, and so is that. They really just have like 2 fonts on this page with different weights.
Okay.
It's a really good site, by the way. Okay, so let's get into it. Got our 2 fonts situated. Yeah, there we go. Global Beans. We love it. Cool. So do some window work here. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is probably we should center Global Beans, right? Let's see. Right now, I think I can just get away with text align center. Nothing too wild happening in our header right now. I am going to go ahead and get to a mobile view so that I can design with that in mind first. Good. Go a little bigger. 125. 150. Okay. There it is. Boom. So far, so good. Let's do the regions section now. I would consider this to be in the main, and then to be the main content of the page. And inside of there's a section, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a class of regions. Okay. In there needs to be a header for this, and I'll choose an H2. And we'll say, let's say featured regions. Yeah. And I don't know if this is an e-commerce site or a blog site. Obviously, if we were making it for real, we would have that choice. But I'm saying that because I'm not sure if I'm going to do any like purchasing features or layout. First sip of coffee. Beautiful. Okay, featured regions. That's also a heading. I'm going to make it. Didn't I get a couple different weights for the Myungjo font? Yeah. I'm going to make it the 400 weight of the same font as the header, and just so because to make it a little lighter. Sound good? So I will say dot regions. Any H2s inside of dot region will have this in them. And then I will change the font weight to be 400 since I have that available. We'll find out what we get by default, whether it's the 200 or the 400. Oh, cool. There we go. Yeah, Mary.
Is the font weight related to its opaqueness?
No, look, this is 700 and then this one has 400 weight. So they're equally opaque, but they're just not as thick. You can think of it as thick.
Okay, so it's like size.
No, it's like thickness. It's not size because the font size is a separate thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's
the thickness.
These are the weights. These fonts are all different weights. Note that they're the same size, but different.
Yeah, but there's some are thicker. Okay.
You got it. Yeah, it's like a Pilot G207 versus an 05 versus a 0.0 versus a 0.38 versus a 1.0. If you're familiar with the Pilot pins, best pins in the game. Okay, good. Stand by. All right, cool. Let's keep going. So we've got our featured regions. I think that's okay. It probably is a little big. So I'm going to make it an H3 here. Let's see what that gives us. Oh, yeah. It went back to the regular weight because I selected H2s. So we have to then change this to say H3s. Some of you might be thinking, well, why wouldn't you give a class to the H3? And that might not be a bad idea. I'm going to start, though, with this approach. That feels much better to me. So featured regions underneath there in that same section, we'll give another like a subsection, but we'll still call it section. And we'll actually say, I'm going to call it, I think a better name for this section is regions. I'm going to change this to regions container. And then here, I will say regions container. Because these are actually going to be the regions in this next section. And the purpose of that other class, literally, is just to contain, it's just a box for the regions. And now, I'm going to add the regions. We did not make that many design choices when we laid out our regions, but the reality is that these are going to be links so that somebody clicks and they can see the different content inside of there. Or excuse me, the different coffee beans for that particular region. Okay. So let's do it. Central America, Africa, South America. And these are going to need to be like boxes of some size. Yeah. I'm just thinking through like what the best, what a good element choice might be. Could be section again. Could do article. Article kind of makes sense because it's going to be something that there's a serial amount of, multiple of inside of the.
I would use a P.
Said what?
I said I would use a P, but that's just me.
Oh, got it. So let's talk about why P might not be the best choice. Thank you for saying that.
Okay, I'm in.
Central America, right? I'll just do that, right? And then I refresh, and that's cool. That's there. Though that's a little sus. Why is it that font? Header H1.
So you're saying that's not a bad idea, Brian, or?
I'm saying P might not be the best choice for this font, and I'll show you why.
Okay.
But we have, I'm really confused why that's that font. But anyway, look at this here, Corey. I inspect here. Whoops. You can see that this P here is a paragraph. The purpose of a paragraph tag is to contain text. And you're right that there will be some text that we're going to type, but we want to reserve the use of the P tag for blocks of text that are to be read, like, or another way to put it is copy. So like the contents of a blog post, perfect, should be in a P tag. And in this case, this is going to be like some sort of card. And it might end up being the case that we put the contents like actually Central America inside of a P tag, perhaps, but I'm not going to use a P tag to represent the box that is the link here. So
let me ask you this, Kevin. I mean, Brian, is that a personal choice or that's just
both? Or
okay.
I don't know. I guess I don't know what you're going to say next, but yes, it's a personal choice because I'm making it. It's not wrong. Obviously, we could, it showed up on the page. But what we're trying to make out of Central America, Africa, South America is boxes or cards to click on that will be linkable. See what I'm saying? It's because CSS only applying the font only to the heading element. You selected, not the P element.
Brandon, so I have a follow-up question.
Yeah, hit me.
Is it because paragraph is going like line by line, and in the box Central America is in like a wraparound style text? Hold on. Yes.
Are you on your Zoom meeting now?
Yes.
All right, well, she wanted to know. She doesn't have anything noted in there. She said she'll do it this time, but she
Just muted Mary. She'll come back when she's ready with the question. Right now I'm trying to figure out when this font's showing up. Kevin, you said regions. Yeah, but it's not. Bro.
Okay. Back to the question of are you not using paragraph because it's being wraparound styled for the box?
No, it's not because of the text. I'm not using paragraph as the container because paragraph is not designed to be a container. A paragraph is a place for written text, which means it's fine if we put the initial text, the actual final text inside of a paragraph, but that's not a good choice for the actual container that is the thing we're going to click on. So I'm going to make it an article. Then inside of here, we'll do whatever it is. And this is not bad to be a P tag. It's just that P was not the best choice for the different cards.
Okay.
And we'll just do 3 regions for now.
What tag would you use?
What do you mean?
If you're not using the paragraph tag, what tag would you use?
I might end up using that. I'm saying for the box. Okay. So as you can see here, I chose article.
Okay.
This is blowing my mind. Does anybody see why on earth the font here would be not the regular font? So I've said regions container, any H3s inside of it. H3 is featured regions, perfect. But then we don't have styling on the other one. The articles are children of the regions container. It's correct, but I said just H3s though. So any H3s inside here. Huh. Okay. Either way, we know we can override it if we need to do that. And maybe it's not a bad idea that it's that we can look into it more when we get going. Kevin, what's up?
I think I also tried to style something with the greater than sign thing too, and I think, well, I guess my theory is that the regions container is targeting all the descendants of the H3 element, and the paragraph, sorry, it's like nested within the article, so it's not like a direct descendant. Is that why the styles aren't applying? Like
the thing is they are applying, and I don't want them to. So the regions container, I'm saying by this I'm just wanting to target the H3, this H3. But the regions container is also getting it. But I can solve this by giving this a class, even though I didn't want to do that. But what were you saying, Kevin?
What if you just want to target the H3? Would it not just be like deleting the greater than sign instead of?
Yeah, for sure. Like I know that we can do that. I am just saying that I thought that since I had the dot regions container with this direct arrow, it would only target the that H3, but not the whole section.
Okay, that's how the okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We could definitely do that. Okay, so this should solve that. And now, what is life? That's really nuts. Okay, I'll go with it until I figure it out later. It's probably something really simple that I'm overlooking. Okay, anyway, we have these three here: Central America, Africa, South America, and currently we're on a tiny little iPhone. So maybe we can just make them, just have them be on top of each other. Problem, right? Okay, and on these articles, what I want to do is give them a class of, let's see. Ooh. I'd say card. That way, maybe I'll need to reuse this for something else. Okay, so card, and then we'll make it be something. Keith is going to ask how I did that. You select one word and press Command D, and it'll select the next however many times you press D instances of that word, and then you have multiple cursors on it. Keith, if that was not your question, feel free to unmute.
Yeah, it was Command D. Nice. You said
D as in dragon.
Cool.
Delta.
Okay, thank you.
I'm too hyped that I anticipated the question, but I'm now calming down. Okay, so let's make the regions. Should we make it a Flexbox? We don't need to just yet, really, because the default behavior is vertical, and that would all we're doing with Flex. I might end up doing it. We'll see. I'll hold off. Right now, I want to style this card. I'll give it a, I don't know, fixed height of say like 250 pixels. And then save, and then we'll give it a background color of, yeah, we have to choose some colors. Let me see. This could be fun to choose a color palette. There's a site called coolers.co that will give you color palette if you want. So what you can do is come over here and choose something like we're dealing with coffee, so maybe we want some kind of brown, something like that. Maybe there's probably a color called coffee. Good. Well, and then we can lock this one, right? And then let it shuffle based on that. If I can find the shuffle button. Space bar. Good. So that's not bad. That's not bad. Oh, all right, cool. So let's lock in with this color palette here. That feels pretty fun. So then we'll make the regions. Oh my God. You guys, look. Shout out. It's Carolina Blue. Okay, so we'll make the background of the regions that. Actually, let's do this. This lapis lazuli, which is a gorgeous gem if you've never seen that. This. And then we can give it an opacity value by saying something like, I think it's 7.5. Yeah, I think I did. I wish I had done that. So background color of the cards. Whoops, dang. Okay, so 250 is a little aggressive. It's okay. 100. So we know we want to, let's just do one change at a time. Okay. And then I want them to be, I don't like that they're like all the way to the edge. So I can either give some sort of, like width to the parent class, like this regions one, and we can play with that in the browser. We can say like 80%. That's not bad. Maybe 75. And then we center them. Okay, Corey, what's up? Hand is up.
Oh yeah. My question was when you're dealing with the CSS properties,
Yeah.
does it matter where you put the background color at or the font and family, or you just long as it's there, or so how does that work?
Yeah, it definitely matters. If I put the background color,
And the font and the height, the font,
yeah,
the font
everything.
family and stuff like that. So
It all matters. It's like
Okay.
if I put the background color in the section title, and now that's going to have the background color,
Okay.
right?
You put it where you wanted to the property where you want the element at.
You got it. You put the property where the element you selected on the element you selected, and you select
Right.
it by however you select it. You could put
Gotcha.
an element selector, a class selector, an ID selector with the octothorpe. We could do inheritance, all these other things.
So if I wanted to put the height with the header, then I put it. Okay, gotcha.
Sweet. Okay. I think that goes down here, right? Save that. Now I see that I want to give the regions thing a width of 75%. Save, we'll go back, refresh. That's not bad. Okay, so we can do, wow, we're already an hour in. Crazy.
Brendan, quick question.
Yeah,
I
please.
thought on the what we drew on the paper to see how we're going to set out, they were in like inch by inch size boxes 3 across.
Yeah, they
3
were, but this is a phone, so I made like an exact choice to make them horizontal. You're right, though.
Okay.
Let's make the regions container a Flexbox. That way we can center those things. Yeah. Good. And then I'm just going to do one change at a time. Nice. Regions container. Yeah, that was probably the wrong choice because... Oh, no, we're good. I just have to change the flex direction. I should probably will have to do align items. Yeah. Item center, because since I changed the flex direction, that changes the role of the justify content and align items properties. Okay, so now we need to center Central America, Africa, and South America. Good, those words inside of there. So what we can do is we don't really even need to do anything wild. We can say I don't know. I'm not in love with the idea of making all these cards flex boxes, but it's a pretty easy way to get them centered, or to get the content centered. Display, flex, and then align items, center, specify content, center. And that's just these cards. That way the content in there is should be centered now. Oh, sus. Okay, so now we have to, let's go now with regions. I have to make regions a Flexbox. That's annoying. Maybe I could just give the cards each some space. I don't know. Let's play with it in the browser. Go to regions, and I will say each one of these, let's say, if we did margin, pixel around. Oh, whoops. Each card. I gave it some margin. 1 pixel. Or what if I did gap? So nothing, because it doesn't have any children. This card here is one of these, and it doesn't have children to give gap to. So if I did this, I could make the regions element a flex box, and then I have to change the X direction to column, and then I could give some gap of like 2 pixels. Do it. Yeah, that's not bad. It's like flex all the way down, you know what I mean? So good. I have to implement these changes. I can just copy this and put it into the regions. CSS. And I'll put width up there. Doesn't matter the order you put them in. I just like to have it that way. But my rationale for that was like, that's something you should know off rip. Like, oh, this is going to be 75% of its parent. And then we refresh, we see we have that. Good. Coolio. So far, not bad. Let's move on to the brewing method section, and then we can start to click around and make what we want to do is make these links to other pages so we can see the different information about the coffee. Okay, that way I can show you multiple HTML pages and how I'd handle it with 1 or 2 style sheets or what. Okay, any questions right now? We're like halfway through.
No, just comment. Cool. Thank you.
All right, bet. Love it. Has anyone new joined? I don't think so. Is Aaliyah here? No. What's up, Gerald? Gerald's been in and out. Hey, everybody. Kidoki. All right, let us keep going. All right, so here in the main, rocking and rolling, I'll make a new section and give it a class of brewing. I'm going to say methods container. I don't want it to be like really long name. Not that it matters. I just don't want to do that. So we'll give another title, methods title, H3. It's literally the same exact structure as this. So I'm going to copy this, paste, and it will say, actually, I will leave it as section title because there's nothing really different about it here. See how if I just give it this class of section title, I don't have to, worry about styling it again because I already have a style. I've already said how I want to treat section titles. That's an important way to think about these things. Is like, this is one of the early examples you'll get of the concept of reusability. In other words, we don't want to have to type these new styles again because 1, carpal tunnel, but 2, like if we decide to change it at some point, we want to be where we only have to change one thing. In other words, if at some point in the future I have a product manager's like, hey, we have to stop using that font because either it takes too long to load or it changed copyright and we don't want to pay for the use of it, whatever. Okay, as a developer, then all I've got to do is go in here and change the font to Times, and then my change is done. Fresh, and now it's Times. And I don't have to change that all over the site.
It's everywhere it has that section.
Yeah, everything that applies to which this rule applies. Okay, so now as I'm looking, here's something interesting. Couple things. One, I was like completely bugging. This is Times New Roman. This is not the font that we had, so everything's fine there. Because I changed the class. I had a thought about the font of this thing. Maybe I should lighten it up. But it's my responsibility to be like, okay, we can get to that later. We're not going to change that right now, And something you can do is either write yourself a comment like light font weight, so that when the time comes, you can do that. I don't recommend doing this all over, but just it's helpful to stop yourself until you are able to interrupt thought patterns that are like, oh, you should do this, you should do this. We want to stay focused so that we can get this first layer done, right? And all sorts of things are coming into your mind as you're doing it, but this could be helpful to set yourself up for success and not rabbit hole this right now, because fonts aren't going anywhere. Okay, so this should be brewing methods. And here I really just want a list of them. I don't think maybe we want the same structure. I don't know. Like, you know, having the cards like that. That's not bad. Yeah, let's do that. Let's take that same structure of that we did with the regions and do it for brewing methods, I guess. So that means I'll just copy this. I'm going to change. Yeah, so check me out. I'm just going to copy this, right? Copy and paste it here. I'm going to make some changes. These aren't regions. These are brewing methods. These are still cards. I'm going to change the countries. Let's see. And I will do espresso. I forget what it was. French press and drip, I think. Yes. French press. Good. Okay. And this is a card, right? So I know that I kind of want, I should say methods. I kind of want regions and methods to have the same style, but I think naming them the same, sorry about that. I think naming them the same is not clear, but what I can do is select two classes here. So what I've done with the comma is said regions and methods should be styled like this. If I did regions plus methods, that would be siblings, but they're not siblings, so it's not going to work. And they should just appear as is. Now they're not Flexboxes because I did not also do all the other things that it should have. And I can easily get that by just making the methods container here like that. So then it begs the question of like, since that's all that these two classes are doing, regions container and methods container, they don't necessarily need this the specific differentiator about methods and regions. We could just call it container, but I'm going to leave it here just to be very explicit. But now they should look the exact same. Cool. So let's make the brewing methods just like a different color from our palette, and we'll choose this Hunyadi yellow. How about that? I think that's a nice. They did a great job on this palette or the computer. That looks really nice. So we'll just briefly change this. So, okay, cool. So we want the cards to each have this. See what I mean? But we want them to have a different background color. So what we'll do then is take this background color style rule out and still make that the background color for the regions cards, but not the methods cards. We'll change that. We can say regions card. Add this. Boom. And then we'll say methods. Let's scroll up, right? It's at the bottom. We'll say methods dot card. Background color should be our new one I just got from the site that had the palette on it. And then we can give it another level of opacity. Yeah, not bad.
Thanks.
Yeah, right? I think so too. So we can say this. I want to see what happens. Someone asked, I think it was Saint, you can do opacity with hex colors. Hex codes, and the answer is yes, you can. Just give the value at the end. Like it higher. 75. Not bad. Yeah, let's leave it at 75. Alrighty, I'll go back, refresh. That's good. That's not bad. So we're pretty much done, right, with the top level layout. Good deal. Okay, so now I want to make these to be, I want to make different pages for these. So that when you click on it, it shows you the coffees from Central America. That sound good? Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any questions? Any outstanding questions at the moment? Oh, see, Eddie, I didn't see that he's leaving. I think he left. Awesome. No questions. All right, cool. Let's move on. Let's make this links, and then we'll do. We'll make a. There will come a time where we won't have to make a different page for each one of these, but right now we don't know about. We just don't know how to do dynamic routing yet. We'll get to that. So what I'm going to have to do is make a different page, HTML page for each time you click here. So I'm thinking you click Central America, it takes you to centralamerica.html. And then click Africa, it takes you to Africa.html. We have to repeat because we don't know about dynamic routes yet. All right, so let's do it. So that means I have to make a new HTML page. So I could say touch Central America.html. Then I'll touch South America.html. And I'll touch Africa. And I'm also going to make, so as you can see right now, they're just hanging out. And I don't love that. I want to make a directory for them. Make their regions. And then I want to move Central America to regions. I want to move South America to regions. Some of you now understand why when you start typing, I'm like, press tab, because it saves you time. Look how fast that was. They're all inside of the regions directory. Do what, Corey? Oh, Corey, you have your hand up. You're muted, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. I had mentioned this to you early. It's just like so many properties. How, like over time, I guess you just know by second nature.
You're talking about properties where?
Just with the elements as well as we're dealing with CSS and just the commands overall. It's just like boom, boom, boom. Like it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Not complaining, but just more of a concern. So do you graduate over time remember these or?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's why I throw so many labs at you, because all of them are opportunities to practice. And I think what happened, and I'm not specifically, this is not specifically at you, but I think what happened is a lot of times people get focused on like the details of one thing that they can't actually go through and get the whole cycle of practice of just like completing it. You know what I'm saying? So notice, you know, even here, like with the espresso, I'm not in love with this as the final structure, but I know I can always go back and change it. So what I'm getting is the overall layout or scaffolding, as they say. And then I'm going to go back and like make changes. But to your point, yes, the answer really is just practice. And over time, you'll look it up until you don't need to. Don't let the fact that like here pretty soon I'm probably going to have to Google something like how to do it. For example, you remember up here I was like bugging out about the CSS inheritor. My understanding from my memory was off from what it could have been. So or from what it actually was. So that means I could look it up, and like looking it up is not cheating. It's not. I think maybe on that first day when they were like no plagiarizing.
Right.
I think that's not a thing. You know what I mean? You should absolutely be searching things up. I'm not expecting you to pull things out of your memory. However, over at a certain point, I am going to, expect you to be able to, like, I think we're kind of there, to be able to create a directory and touch a new file in it pretty
Absolutely,
fast.
absolutely. Right.
That's not like it's like an 8 to 10 second operation.
I just think it goes with like I had 4 years of Spanish, and so if I read it, I'm pretty good at translating it, but I can't have a conversation more than like 2 or 3 sentences because I don't have somebody talking to me every day where that's getting reinforced. And
I
that's
see what you mean.
kind of what it's just not. But once you're doing it every day and that's all you're doing all day, it'll just come to you.
That's exactly right. That's a good point, Mary. Some more, you're talking more about like this idea of like saturation and immersion. That's why I think the boot camp, the way y'all are doing it, is really good because it's like learning how to speak a language by just going to the country and having to survive.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're doing with with writing software. And I think to me, that's the best way. Like I knew Spanish from school, but then I went to Guatemala for 2 weeks and I leveled up big time because it was like, there's no option. If I didn't have, if I didn't speak, I couldn't eat or have coffees. And I wanted both of those things. So I made it work. So that's when y'all get to think
Priorities.
like, oh, do I really want this job? Okay, cool. I better figure out what this is, right? And obviously, you've got instructors, you've got me, you've got Eddie and Zach, but there's only so much we can do.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that to like absolve myself of responsibility, right? Like obviously I'm here for you, but I can do my best to like anticipate because I've been through this experience and, taught lots of people. I can try to help you like with the way you're thinking about it, but I can't make you practice. I can heavily encourage you to do so. I can't.
You can't want it more than you.
Correct.
You can't want it more than your students.
Yeah, that's
They
exactly
need to
right.
want it.
Okay. So good. Nice little aside. Back to code. Does that help, Corey?
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
yeah. The answer is you got to practice. And so does everyone. Great. So there's those. We got our pages. Let's link it up. So we'll start with Central America. The thing is, if we do one, we can do them all, and they'll look exactly the same. It'll just be slightly different content. So let's make this article a link. Yeah, that's no problem. We can wrap this in an anchor tag. We have choices here. We can make the whole entire card a link, which I actually like for mobile. But then the problem in our case is it doesn't give a lot of scrolling space. Like think about someone's thumb. If we make this whole thing a link, depending on their digital sensitivity, they may or may not be able to scroll without clicking away. So I'm just going to actually just make the paragraph a link. Oh. One tab is all it takes. Okay, we're going to go to regions / Central America when you click there. And so when we go here, refresh, it takes us to that new page. And some of you might be like, oh, now it has the blue line under it. I hear you. Let's fix it up. So we could say card, links inside the card. I think it's text decoration. Is that right? Text decoration line. I'll say none. What'd you say, Corey?
No, I'm just looking at all the modifications on the text that you had just showed.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. Well, you know what? Let's pretend I didn't know that. Let's do that. Let's be like, no, for real. Because I think I don't show this part enough. So I would be like, how to remove the underline from a link from, let's say, an anchor tag. Right? Google that. This first option, I'm going to read it and think about it. After opening your content, edit, navigate to the Insert tab, locate the area between the opening A tag and starting the href as shown. Insert the code style equals text decoration none. That's not bad. The problem, I mean, you know, that is the correct CSS, but this is using a style tag. So I'm going to say, how to remove the underline from hyperlink in CSS? Because I want a CSS solution. That was a style attribute in HTML. Okay. Oh, and that was a horrible one. So I'll go back. I'll just add CSS to my original search. Okay. That's not bad. Free Code Camp is a good resource. Whoa, Colati. This is a link. Okay, here we go. Anchor tag, the regular state of the link. Blah, blah, blah. I'm reading. It's okay. Here's a link. Good. And then I see, oh, okay. A link. These are pseudo classes. I can be like, oh, I could think, oh, if it's been visited, if we wanted to have text decoration none, but I can just make it not have it at all by taking off the pseudo class. So here's the property, text decoration, and the value is none. So I'm going to try that and see what happens. Oh, nice. You can remove the default underline all in one with the anchor element selector. Cool. So then I go back to my code and I say, there's the anchor tag. And I'm going to type that text decoration and give it none. Right? That's how it would look if I was in a scenario where I had never done this before. I would Google it and look up how to do it. Okay, so now we've got Central America, boom. And we want to, now we have to style this page.
Okay, before you do that, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I must have been distracted for a minute. There's, scroll up a little bit, or no, at the bottom of the HTML, it has, no, not all the way at the bottom. Kind of in the middle of the, what's it called? Nope. Oh, line. I can do that. It's like 24, 25, 26-ish. This is to do light font weight. I know when it's green because Zach and Eddie did that to mine for code that I put in there that worked, but a different code was better, so I used that. But they still left it in there, but it wasn't working. I don't know. So is that how you can do notes for other things, and how do you get it to look like that?
This is a comment. So any text you highlight or click on the line and press command slash will toggle whether or not it's a comment, and it won't show up on the page. Or you can just highlight it and right click and no, just do command slash. That's the way to do it. Command slash.
Okay.
Okay, so let's style this Central America page. And some of you might be like, well, it's going to look exactly like this one. That's exactly right. So in this case, we want to say, and we'll learn how to make this dynamic to where we don't have to type every time. But this title is actually really important for SEO, search engine optimization. I think Zoe asked about that early on. We're still early on, but like a few days ago. So beans from Central America, global beans. So actually, I think beans is redundant. I'll say Central America, global beans. So now we go to this page. It should say Central America, global beans. Sick. Okay, so let's style it. What we want to do is go ahead and inherit the same styles from our CSS page, but we have to now, since we're in a different location, you know what I'm saying? We have to up one level and say style.css. It's not the same link. Please note that. So here we just have style.css because those are in the same directory. And then here we have to do ... up one level because I decided, to put the different regions pages in their own directory. Same concept as in the terminal in your working directories. All right. So yeah, I want the same exact structure. I still want this header. And then I'm just going to copy it. That way it looks the same. If you're thinking it's redundant, you're right. Because we haven't learned how to do any of the other stuff. Style.css, header, H1. Oh yeah, good. So here's a fun little lesson. The fonts didn't come into this one because I also didn't copy over the links that had the font to this different page. So you got to do that too. And then our font should work. And also we should actually have our styles beneath the font. That way the fonts are loaded when our styles go. It works probably because of caching, something called caching, meaning the font was already downloaded on my computer. So it worked just fine. Cool. While we're here, let's do something quickly and make this H1 a link back home. You know? So that when we're on Central America, we can click on Global Beans and it takes us back home. So we'll do an anchor tag. Oops. A. And then say href equals. Let's go. And I'll take it out of there. Bam. Boom. Save. Fresh. Now it's a link. It's an ugly link, but it's a link. Okay, so we want to do this also in our CSS. Let's see. Almost honestly, on the whole page, I can't think of a scenario where I want the underline to show up. So for all the anchor tags, I'm going to do text decoration. He wanted to say hello.
Hey.
Right. So text decoration none for all the links. Good. And then we'll fix the color in a second. Don't worry. So that's done. And now we can do. You're correct. We didn't design the beans page, but we'll do that. We can do that right now. Yeah, let's basically just treat the beans exactly like the regions with a little more detail. So yeah, so really not exactly like them. Let's just expand it a little bit and put an actual description of the bean. You know what I mean? Don't mind me. Let's see. Okay, cool. I got my beans here. Maybe I'll start with a good Central American coffee bean. My list doesn't have. See. Oh, good. We'll get a quick choice here. Panama. What's the coffee cup? Oh. Shout out to Guatemala. Yeah, give me a bean name, please. Central American coffee beans. There we go. No, you can't know where I'm at. There we go. El Indio. Half calf. No half calf. There we go. El Conquistador. Let's go with that. Done. That's one. All right. I'll leave that there for reference. And let's get into it. So beans. It's going to be structured almost exactly like this fella here. So Now I am going to just well, no, I'm not. I was thinking that I might actually go ahead and put the take off the word container, but I'm not ready to do it. I'm still attached to it. Okay, beans container. I could say beans from Central America. And we will also learn how to make this dynamic to where this is a placeholder. So it will be dynamically repeated and we won't have to type it. We don't know how to do that yet though. It's okay. Make this like this, a little easier to read. Over in the CSS, we'll make the beans container. Okay. Yeah. Gerald, you were literally doing what last night? The link thing? Is that what you were talking about, Gerald, in the chat? Beans. Yes, nice. Regions, methods, beans. Okay. And then now we have yeah, the card might not make sense and we'll fix it we'll see what happens. Know what I'm saying? Cool. Beans from Central America, blah blah blah. And obviously Central America, Africa, and South America are not the appropriate things to have there, but we just wanted to do it for the styling. So I will take off, what of this card class can I keep? Probably display flex, align items, and justified content, probably. I don't know if I will have it centered. Maybe I could have it have it left justified. So maybe I can take off justify content, no problem. So flex item, Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'll do one at a time, because instead of it's not going to have 3 different regions, it's going to have however many number different beans. So in this case, we probably are going to need like the name of the bean. Let's do the name of the bean, the description of it, like exactly where it comes from, and then like a little flavor profile. So let's go back here to get our name. The bean is called El Conquistador. We like that. Does it tell us anything about it? Beautiful. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. That's good information. We'll do this well-balanced notes as our flavor profile. Sick. Okay, so 1H4. Let's try that. I'll give it a class of bean name. Someone asked, like now it's getting to a point where I'm thinking about, I'm considering in my head creating another style sheet. I don't need to, but I'm thinking about maybe just having a different place to organize these styles. It's just a baby thought. I'm not necessarily going to do it yet.
But that's a good question. Why?
Gross.
What would be the need for having multiple style sheets?
If you wanted to, practically, there's no difference. But as a developer, when you're working on it, it could make things easier to reason about, or it can make things harder to keep up with, because you have to click across to two different style sheets. The thing to keep in mind is that if you do that, the styles that are, the browser loads these styles from top to bottom, or runs all these things top to bottom, meaning it's going to download this, pre-connect to this URL, and download this font, and then it's going to link up with this style sheet, and then that one. So these styles might override these depending on how they are selected. So that'd be the reason. But I'm not going to do it just yet.
We have more questions. I have more questions. Could you go back to that page?
To what?
To this link styles.
Okay.
Link to the style sheets. Okay. You had 2 of them there that looked exactly the same. So was that just something you copied, or how would you link it if it was 2 separate sheets? Just change the name.
You got it.
Okay.
But you'd have to have that style sheet. You have first, you have to have the extra style sheet and then link to it.
Okay.
Cool. So we've got El Conquistador, and we can see that it shows up. That's cool. And now we can see, like, okay, maybe the centering doesn't really make sense for this one. So now I might be like, well, I'm not going to do this necessarily. So I'm going to add another class to this, and this is going to be called Coffee Card, because there's some parts about the card that I do want to be there. Like I want it to be a Flexbox, and I want the items to be aligned center, but not justified center. So I'm going to say Coffee Card will override justify content, and we'll say left. Let's see what that does. There we go.
And if both of them are center, what's the difference between aligning to the center and justifying to the center? If it's all going to end up at the center anyway.
Align is different from justify in Flexbox. So justify is along the flex axis, and align is perpendicular to the flex axis.
Okay. It's height and width for that. Okay.
Not height and width, left to right or up and down.
Yeah, that's what yeah. Width. So
Well, I mean,
yeah.
it's important. It's height and width are different. I know what you meant, but just wanted to be clear.
Yep.
Cool. Cur El Conquistador. And now, Corey, I'm going to choose paragraph because I have a bunch of text to write in. So
that would be the proper element to use that. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because the H4 is the heading. That's the name of the coffee. And then we said we're going to do where it's from, and then some flavor notes. So actually, I'll do an first an H5, then I'll do paragraph to contain the country. And we said this came from where? I can't remember. Costa Rica. Yeah. Costa Rica. You let me wrong country. Not even, that's a complete appropriation of the culture. So I'm sorry for singing that to anybody who's listening. So well balanced with notes of lush tropical fruit and bittersweet chocolate. Has a smooth, pronounced body. Good. Paste there. And yeah, that's not bad. I guess we'll see, right? Let's see if it's not bad. Clouding. Okay, so we can see that we need the flex direction to be different. So in this card, in the coffee card, let's change the flex direction. Flex direction. Keith, what's up?
Yeah, I just want to verify something. The reason why in coffee card the justify contents are left, I just want to make sure it's only because the coffee card is below .card in style CSS, right? It's only because it's below it that it overrides it.
No.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm
actually, maybe, let's see. I just changed the flex direction, so it shouldn't work. Let's see where we at. Coffee card is a flex box, and actually, yeah, my bad, Keith, you're right. We have a conflict if I actually do need to put this beneath and make sure that I have I now need it to be aligned items because I changed the flex direction. So Yes, Keith, what you said is
So-
correct.
So the overriding, if there's a conflict, the overriding one is just the class beneath.
The last one.
Yeah.
Whichever
Right.
one gets applied last.
Okay.
Oh, I broke it, you guys. But I'm not worried. It doesn't define me. You get what I'm saying? I have beans, H4, beans from Central America. The beans container is a Flexbox, a line item center. Let's do some investigation. Ba, 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 ba. Beans container, good. Section title, good. The beans inside of there, except El Conquistador. Oh, I see. I think I know. The problem, it has, see, we've given the card a height of 100 pixels, which is why we don't need to have a height value. So now I'm starting to see like, okay, maybe I should just make a separate coffee card, right? So my initial thinking of like not trying to reuse the stuff in card was flawed. So I'm going to also make it display flex and then take off this, because as you can see now, I've pretty much duplicated all the styles and I don't need this extra height here. But yeah, we just have to do 2 separate styles. So let's see. Okay, fixed. And then we see now that we probably have to do some more styling with the space in between the various things. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay. Great. Any questions right now? Anybody have questions?
Hey, Brandon. I do have
What's up?
one question.
Yeah.
Kind of, I guess backpack. I know we fixed it already, but backpacking off of Keith, I was just curious whether like how you assigned multiple classes to the article.
Yeah.
In the cascade, when you change coffee card above card,
Mm.
would it matter like if you order how you ordered it in the HTML document? Like if you like you'll take the card class and then you would apply coffee card, even if the order was reversed in CSS. Does that make sense? Or
Yeah, it does make sense. I don't think that part matters. What you're doing when you assign classes in HTML is saying like all these classes will apply, and then the order of their application is determined by the CSS.
so like it would look at it at the exact same time, I guess. I think I remember last time in class you were saying how like inline would always be applied like because it's the closest to the element, kind of like with the color thing. So it wouldn't be like in this case where like the coffee card would be applied last on the inline, or
No, it's not like that, because all the classes are applied simultaneously. The way the browser works is there's steps. The first step is load the HTML page, and all of that. And that process includes assigning classes to the various NIDs and all the other attributes to the elements on the page. And then there's a separate step in the rendering process for painting the page, which is what CSS does. And then, so this is saying, irrespective of the order that they are in the HTML, it's just like the elements that have this card, that have this card class, and the one I'm highlighting, will have these styles. And then the next style gets applied. The elements that have the coffee card will have this style. And if there's a conflict, it's not that it knows there's a conflict. It's just there's applying the styles that are here.
In the cascade, like following the order.
In order, 100%.
Got it.
And then that's like within the style sheet order. But then if you have another style sheet after this one, to Mary's question, and it's named differently, obviously, then these styles are going to apply.
Got it. That makes sense.
These styles are going to apply top to bottom.
Cool. Okay.
Cool. Okay, so now I'm going to give a little bit of like a light background color to these beans here. And I'm going to choose, I'll choose this, but even more opaque. This Hunyadi yellow. Cool. I'll say like capacity, refresh, and see. Come on. That works. Refresh. There we go. Okay. Ew. Right? No good. It's okay. 95. Save. Refresh. Don't love it. I don't hate it either. Okay, so we have it justified left. I don't love how much space there is between them. So coffee card, line items left, but justify content. Since we changed the flex direction to column, now justify content is a north-south operation. So we can say, let's try the space between. Oh, it will try to. What do you mean? Refresh the page. Inspect. Hey, that's not being applied. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we could use what's called, and we didn't really talk about this. We could use a CSS way to override the default browser styles, because I don't like that by default. You can see the user agent style sheet has a margin of 1.67 EM at the beginning and end, which is like almost that's like almost 25 pixels, which is not trivial, especially on a mobile phone. So we can deal with that later, but right now we can see that we have it set up to have some coffee. So let's get a couple more from Central America before we move on. Here. I like our little site here. Costa Rica. Give me another country. There we go. El Salvador. Finca La Siberia. Okay. So we'll basically just copy this. Command V. Command V again. Okay. Oh, whoops. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there we go. Said what?
No, I'm just like, it's real interesting. It's just trying to learn the properties and the proper, chain and stuff.
Oh, that's what's up. I'm glad you're interested. Because it is interesting. You're correct. I enjoy it. Get our little flavor profile here. All right. Boom. So that's cool. We can leave that like that. And then I want to make sure, because I don't want you to necessarily just be watching me make copy, but I want to make sure that we're actually doing some stuff that's like, usable in class, and anybody can copy paste text. So I'm going to give a little border radius to these cards, maybe. Feels good. Or maybe let's change some text, font colors, I mean to say, on the coffee cards. Coffee card. So down here, I like to organize the CSS a little bit, where if somebody's making changes going forward, you have to think that when you're writing software, there's almost a 100% chance that it will change at some point in the future. So,
well, because the only constant is change.
There you go, Mary. That's exactly right. So, right, don't be afraid of it's like going with something because you can run it back. And the point is, though, I organized my things close together because I might want to change things about the coffee card maybe all at one time. So it's like, okay, cool, it's all right here. I don't have to be up here, then down here, then up here, then down here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So coffee card H4, we will give it one of our colors. Black. We'll say one of the blues here. There we are. And then give it going. Bam. Stressed out about the color. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. We like it. And then the country, we can do, let's make the country like a light color. What do we think? Copy, Naples. And then we could say, yeah, coffee card H5. You know what I mean? This one. Bam. Nice little yellow. Let's see. I think this will be hard to read probably. Oh, that's horrible. Look at that. The contrast way too little.
Can't even see it.
Can't even see it. Exactly. So we need to do a dark color. We'll try. Let's do this color, but just give a little opacity. Boom. What's that noise? Chat. What if you gave it a coffee color background? Yeah, not bad. I could do coffee on the coffee name and then this blue on the country. It's a good idea. Let's do that. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, there we go. Not bad. Love to see it. Love to see it. Cool. So then that's good. Give a little border radius to these coffee cards as well. I'm going to put a hardcore value, meaning not a percentage. Light rounding, that's not bad. We can play around with it in the browser to see what we want to do. Maybe we want to do more. You can see we're getting into it's getting crazy. We don't necessarily want that. Do this. Yeah. 10. I'm fine with that. Fine with that. All right. I still don't love, how things are laid out within the actual page. Let's do, let's reset. I'm going to include something called a CSS reset. Here. Because that's what's going to give me, I don't want to, as you can see, this H4. As you can see, we didn't style this. This is the browser's operation. So if we include something like a CSS reset, which is just a bunch of CSS, we'll see that it gives things default, or resets rather, the browser's defaults. And this is not a bad idea. Keith, yeah, Keith.
So when you do the reset, is that going to apply on everything on the page or just a specific class? Or
it's going to apply in this case, for this particular CSS reset, all these elements are going to have no margin, no padding, no border, font size 100%, inherit, and baseline. These are all things that most if we're not using them, it doesn't matter. But we are, as you can see, using H1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they have a default margin of, if you look here, of 1.33 EM, but which in our case, this results to, that's 21 pixels that we're allowing, as you can see over here. And that's just what the browser does out of the gate. So we don't want that. If we want to reset that, we can manually reset it, but there are it's a common enough thing that there's lots of examples of CSS resets.
So are you just, okay, but are you going to do it just on H4 or?
I'm just going to include I'm just probably just going to include all these.
All of them, okay.
Yeah. It'd be nice if there was a link, but I'll just create another file called reset.css to do this. And this is like, I'm doing this right now for convenience, for speed in this particular example, and we'll see how it affects the page. Touch reset.css. And then there's that. Paste. I don't need to do anything but include it in here, and I'm going to include it before mine, or the one that we wrote together, so that it's so that those styles don't override my choices. I want them to apply unless I have an opinion about the way an H4 should look. Let's see. I'm anticipating this will fix our little gap between the title and the country and the freaking flavor profile. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, wrong address. / on that page. See what I mean? I just went straight reset, but I didn't. This one's fine because they're siblings. They're in the same window. So now, there we go. Yes. Oh man, that's rough.
See, that's like, wouldn't you? That's why I was thinking you just want to do it on H4 in that situation, right?
Well, I'm gonna look and see what it did. Font in here, font size 100%. Yeah, take me back here. Did it there too. And this is something, nothing yet is the end of the world, as they say, but let's see. So it's getting, obviously it's got our font, and then H1s have their own right, got it. There we go. Font size 2em. So that's what it did, is it took, yeah, this is an aggressive reset, right? I don't necessarily need it to reset the font sizes. That's okay though. I can change that.
What do you think about moving the area where the bean is from to the right of the bean name?
The what now?
Like taking Costa Rica, and instead of being under, it's on the right. It's to the right of it.
Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, so it's the inherit that's killing us. Yeah, we can definitely do that, Mary.
Thank you, good sir.
All right, cool. So taking out this font size 100% and inherit is going to get us back. Okay, cool. Cool. Being from Central America, taking us home gives us that. Now we just have to fix some things, give fixed height to our thing there. We'll fix these things one at a time. Not a big deal. Central America takes us there. And Mary is saying that we should give some give some room to the header. And then she's saying we should take the font size, or excuse me, the country and put it to the right. I'm on board. Let's see. So we want the header. Have some. Am I missing anything in the chat? Let's see. What if you give it a coffee color? Change line height, maybe. Yeah. I can do some fixed value here.
Bye, Nika.
I'm sorry?
Nika texted that she was leaving. Just saying bye.
Oh, see you. You too, Shanika. Have a great weekend. Good, that's a little much. We'll say like 25. Good. And then we'll do and then okay.
Oh, I'm gonna make another suggestion.
In the chat. That way I can go back and read it after we do this. If you say it, I'm at risk of forgetting. Okay, cool. So now we have our header like pretty much back to how it was. And it is that way on both pages. This is good. We're not panicked about anything. We're doing great. Beans from Central America. And now what I want to do is take the country name and put it to the right of the actual bean. I think that's a good idea. So let's say we have the bean name and the country name here. And I will say, I can put that inside of, this time I will use div because it's not an actual, necessarily a different section. And mostly because I haven't used div yet. So it's okay. I just don't want it to be like div forever. Okay, so I could say bean origin. That there. Will you be sharing this report? I'm gonna have to go back to class. What do you mean class? You're in class. You got another class? Yeah, it is recorded, AJ. It'll be on this YouTube here, YouTube channel here. Okay, so bean origin is what I've called it. Under coffee card, I'll style it and we'll say bean origin is, bean origin is a display of Flex. That'll do it. Actually, I want to do specify content. I don't want it to be, I guess I can do space between. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. Okay. So then we need to, what next might be like to change the font of, let's use our font for this font finally, Work Sans. Okay, so anything inside of any paragraph text inside of a section, pretty much is what I want to say. So up here, let's say section P. This. Oh yeah, now we're moving right along. That's good. We got that. And then I want to give bean origin a little space. Bag. Give me 50 feet. So let's do it. We'll say like, I'll say margin. The reason I don't feel bad about doing a percentage right now is because we haven't. Right now we're on mobile, and then if we get to the section, excuse me, if we get to making media queries for the desktop, then we'll handle that there. You know what I mean? So 2% is not going to be too crazy. If it's all the way maxed out, then that 2% is going to be a big deal. Because let's say you have a 1024 pixel screen, then 2% of that is like, so 10% is 100. So it's like 20 pixels, which might make a difference. I think I did that right. Yeah, like 20 pixels.
I agree.
Okay, what was I doing here? Oh yeah, I was playing around with this value. It's 2%, right? It's 3%, right? Yeah, we can do. Okay. I see AJ. Oh, she left. I missed it, huh? Womp womp. Cool. Okay, anybody have any questions right now? No? Okay. Cool. We're at the 2-hour mark. Is everybody good on time? I can extend the call for a little bit longer. I want to know if there's anything particular people wanted to cover or learn or have questions about, or have anything they want me to talk about. I'll stop presenting briefly. Anything?
Yeah. I feel the same way, so it is making more sense. Thank you.
Feel the same way where? Oh, thank you, making more sense. Oh, good. Happy to hear that. Awesome. That is good to hear. Good to know. Good to know. Okay. Anything we want to do or try on this? Something you struggled with? Something you want to know? Huh?
On the thing, I saw you going in and out of once upon a time having the blocks rounded at the edges.
Oh, the border radius?
Yeah. Can you do that again?
You want me to just like change it?
Yes.
For sure. So some of you might have, I'm sure all of you noticed that I did a lot of changes in the browser. Very helpful seeing your workflow decision making as you progress. Oh, that's good, Kevin. That's good. That's what I hoped. Some of you might have noticed me making changes in the browser and then going over to Visual Studio Code to implement those changes. That's because it's much easier to see and to have the immediate effect of the changes take place than going over, making a change, saving, going over, refreshing the site. You know what I'm saying? So this is nice because you can just, change it. And here, as you can see, I'm modifying border radius. Oh, no, you can't see because I stopped presenting classic. Hold on. There we go. So yeah, you can see now that I'm in the DevTools and going here and changing the border radius. And you can see it's changing to the left. So then I can actually test really simply, because to go from 5 to 6 to 7 to 8, that's like 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 different screen switches you have to make, and then 6 saves, Gotta go. Peace. Cook. Oh, he left. All right. Everyone be safe, blessed. Bet. So yeah, that's how you do that. Mary, you wanted to just see like how to change the border radius? Is that
yeah, how to make how to round the edges.
Yeah, border radius. So you see, if I don't have it, they're square. I don't know if you can see there now.
Make it a little bigger.
They're square now, and then if I give them a value, they get rounded.
Could you make the code bigger?
So what? I zoomed in. Oh, over here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that I didn't need zoomed. The code I need zoomed.
Okay, well, here you go. Border radius is all that is changing there. See that? Cool. Yeah, so yeah, I'll open it for questions. Feel free to, since you came, if you want to ask me something about the future or like a next lesson, or if you want me to do anything here specifically that you've been wondering about, I'm happy to do it for the Saturday crew.
Is this going to be an every Saturday thing?
No,
I didn't think so, but hey, you don't ask, you don't get.
but occasionally. It won't be. It definitely won't be the last time I do it. But
Okay.
I'm not promising for every Saturday. Mostly, I'm doing this to like. I know that we've had a lot of information thrown at us, and I know that maybe we don't have, or I know for sure that we don't have like tech experience, and I also know that maybe some people weren't 100% clear on what to expect from the class. I get that too. So I'm using this as like, whether or not that's the case for you, I'm using this as a time to, like level set on expectations and help catch up folks that that felt like they were behind the proverbial 8-ball. But
Okay.
I will for sure do this again because I know it's helpful to get a different, even though it's still me, but like a different approach to things where we'll be very focused and I don't have to worry about all the different classroom management stuff, because sometimes it's easy to get distracted when we're all in the room together.
Okay.
Hey, Brandon,
Yes.
you have
Hey,
one.
Kevin.
I don't know if Mary's asked you about this yet, but I do appreciate, I know there's a method to the madness at times that you kind of hinted on before, and I appreciate how you kind of like, touch on all the different learning styles. But in anticipation for next week, and I think I had a conversation with Mary on Friday about it. She said for those that would want it, would you be willing to do like the next day's like pre-lecture release beforehand to kind of, instead of like seeing then reading and reading then seeing in class? Because I think Mary was saying it might be helpful for her, and I guess for me, I would like to, I'm kind of itching to get started on JavaScript, I guess. And if there's anything I can like read into, I would love to, that you would recommend. Just like releasing like maybe like the pre-lecture or like the next day, the night before kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I can do that going forward for the next topics that we get to, like JavaScript. I'll be sure to do it where it makes sense. There's gonna be times where it won't make sense, but I can definitely do that. I can definitely try to implement that more often.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, because it's much easier for me to like read first, learn first, and then when I know, go through all the examples.
Cool. That makes sense to me. Anything else? Like...
Oh, what's your cat's name?
Cat's name is Hamlet. See you, Giovanni.
Hamlet. Okay.
Great. All right, then. If there aren't any other questions, hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully a good use of your time. I can end here. Giovanni wants to come back. Giovanni's back. You're welcome, Gerald. What's up, Giovanni? Welcome back. You're welcome, Keith. We're just wrapping up, Giovanni, but if you had any questions, I'm here for it. Appreciate the extra time. Yeah, no doubt, Kevin. For sure. You got it. You got it. All right, then. I guess I'll see y'all on Monday, where we will probably talk about, like I said, CSS frameworks. things like examples of CSS frameworks include Bootstrap, Skeleton, Tailwind. Trying to figure out which one makes the most sense for us to learn, but you'll know on Monday the answer to that. It might be multiple. It might be just one. I might show you one, and then that way you know how to handle them going forward. But then we're coming to a close of the beginning portion of HTML and CSS and moving into JavaScript. I anticipate we'll be JavaScripting this next week, the coming week. All right. I hope everybody has a good rest of your weekend. Get outside. It's nice and sunny. Looking forward to next week. No doubt, Giovanni. Hope you have a good weekend too. See you Monday, Kevin. Goodbye. Goodbye. Should I play some outro music? See you, Giovanni. See you, Mary. Goodbye. I'm fixing to log off. Thanks. Bye. You got it. Yanks. Giles, you got it, my guy. Sweet. Okay. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye. See ya.